Welcome back to another episode of the Reliability Matters podcast. I'm Mike Konrad. I am not in my normal studio. I am in Anaheim, California at the IPC Apex Expo. And a big shout out to Trevor Galbraith for allowing me to interlope in his studio here at the show, in his booth, and to the technical wizards, Summer and Jen. You can't see them, but they're there. And they're the ones pushing the buttons at all the right time. So they're the ones that make us appear the best we possibly can, and that bar is usually pretty low, but you guys are doing great. Thank you. My guest for this short episode is David Chui. David Chui is the sales manager for Test Research. Welcome, David.
Hey, thank you, Mike. Nice to see you.
Being my guest. Yeah,
no
I appreciate
problem.
it.
Thank you.
So, as my audience is well aware, this is the Reliability Matters show. Okay. So we're going to talk about your product, and then we're going to weave your product into reliability.
Okay.
How a product like yours will impact reliability, hopefully for the better, right?
Sure.
So what we're going to talk about is AOI inspection systems, and you have a machine here at the show, which you call your TR7700 QHS2.
Yes.
So clearly whoever named it got a bonus if they could use almost every letter of the alphabet. I mean, it's a long name for a machine. And it's a 3D AOI system.
It's
AOI,
3D.
of course, for the majority of my audience knows this, but for those who are wondering, what is AOI? Automated Optical
Inspection Machine. Yeah.
So what are the differences between a 2D AOI system and a 3D AOI system? I think we all know what 2D and 3D is, but how does that land on technology like yours and products like yours?
Okay. Remember when I was an engineer before, we only have 2D machine, 2D AOI, but for 2D AOI, you only can see it from the top. So everything you can see is from the top, so you cannot see the height.
Right.
So you only can see the marking and the shifting and the skew. That's it. So for sometimes, if you have the lift lead or you have the bad solder joint, it's not very easy to see it.
Right.
So when you involve with the 3D technology, then you can see how tall is the pin lead and how is the solder volume looks like. So you can get rid of those issues, so you don't need to worry about, I cannot see it very well from the 2D. So 3D is really help.
Are most of the decisions that result from an image of a board on a screen coming from an operator looking at the picture and going, oh, that's not right, or do you have AI or any other type of automated, go, no-go, pass, fail, this is wrong, does it flag errors that it sees, or is it relying on an operator to interpret it, or both?
Right now, you're talking about the new technology we call AI. Yeah. So before we more rely on the quality guy. So they use human eyes, they use human judge. Right. So sometimes if they don't pay attention on the pictures, they will miss. Okay, but right now we have AI, so we involve with the AI repair station. So we let the system to judge. But system need to learn. So in the beginning, it's just like the child, like the baby. When the system got more and more information, we call big data. Then they got the big data to go fit into the system. So system can judge it automatically. So it will become better and better.
And what are the typical types of defects your machine, that your users, your customers are using the machine to detect?
Okay. So most of the time we use the 3D AOI to check the component height and pin height and the solder volume. So that is the most important thing, to check it by 3D.
And I would assume, specifically for 3D.
Yeah.
In terms of AOI systems in general, I'm thinking polarity is one, missing components is another.
If you are talking about just the AOI, most of the customer, they use AOI to check the polarity and the shifting and the missing.
Right.
Yeah, that is a very typical fail. You have to check by AOI.
Can they be programmed to determine if the right component is used?
Yes, we can check it by the marking or the color, and the size. So you can use those specific data to find out if that is the correct parts you are using.
I've read in some journals recently that AOI systems, probably pretty advanced AOI systems, can also be used for counterfeit detection. And using an ever-growing library and artificial intelligence, it can spot a known good part, a verified part from an unverified part.
Yeah.
You know, maybe subtle differences in the markings and things like that. Is that landed in your world at this point yet, or is your world more of the proper components and the proper orientation in the proper place?
We are still using the proper component for it. So you still need the correct part to compare with the current part. So you have to use those as the template to check it. So, but we are getting more and more data from different vendors. So if you get all the data correctly, our AI can use those data to verify by itself.
Right.
Yes.
And typically your machines are used after reflow, or do you do any SPI as well, like before reflow?
For AOI, we do pre-reflow and also the post-reflow for both. For pre-reflow, you are not really focused on the 3D, so we just use that one to check the
just make sure the right components are
the right
placed.
component.
Yes.
It's on the correct location. That's all.
Yeah. Even
But
polarity at that point.
Yes.
Yeah.
After the oven, you have to check if something happened after the oven, like you need to check the solder joint. So after oven, you have to more focus on the solder joint.
Yeah. And you started answering this, but just to make sure I have the full answer, what can 3D AOI inspection systems do that 2D cannot do? You talked about scene height.
Yeah.
What other types of defects are unique in terms of discovering the defect, are unique to 3D machines versus just 2D machines?
Yeah. Except that the component height, you also can measure the pin height, lip lee. Also, you can measure the volume for the solder joint, because sometimes according to IPC standard, if you have solder joint, it doesn't mean you have the good solder joint. You have to get enough height and enough volume to determine that is a good solder joint. So that is the one 2D machine you cannot do.
And last question, what advice would you give to a person in our industry that's looking for an AOI machine? What questions should they ask potential suppliers? If you were a buyer of machines and you didn't know TRI, what would you be looking for in terms of vetting and evaluating a company and its products?
It's only for 3D?
Any AOI.
Any AOI?
In general.
Okay, so if I'm the customer, I will go ask what resolution you have, because it depends on what components I have.
So
like
that's a
01,
megapixel
05.
question? Or it's a different...
First thing I will ask what resolution you have. So higher resolution, you can get the better image for the small component, but it will increase the cycle time because the scanning time will become longer. And also I will ask how many megapixel for your camera. And because camera is very important.
Yeah.
If you get the higher megapixel camera, you can get bigger FOV. Also, you can get clear image. So that is also very important.
So ask about resolution, ask about megapixels.
Megapixels.
The higher the resolution, the higher the megapixel count, the better.
Yes.
In general. Any other factors you would be concerned about?
Also, I will ask how accurate is your XY table? Okay, how is your gauge NR? That is the one when I was engineer, I will ask my vendor to test, to try it. I want to see the number and see how good your machine is.
Excellent.
Yep.
Well, David Chui, this is a short episode today. Thank you for being here for this short episode.
Nice to meet
I
you.
wish you all the success in the world with your... Is this a new machine launch?
Yes. That's
First time here at the show?
Yes,
Well,
that's our new machine.
Good luck with that.
21 megapixel.
21?
Yes,
Wow.
that's our newest machine and the high speed.
So you have resolution and speed.
Yes.
And
that's why I want you guys to take a look for our machine in TRI booth.
excellent. Well, David Chui, sales manager, Test Research
Test
Incorporated.
Research.
I'll get the name right eventually on the third try.
No problem.
Test Research Incorporated, thank you for being my guest. I
No
appreciate
problem.
it.
Thank you, Mike.
All right,
Thank
take
you.
care.